guys, so I'm here with another review of four color Omnath control, and just like a couple of changes that I have made, and the list that I took to the Bearded Dragon tournament for Modern on Tuesdays. So basically, everything was pretty much similar. This is the list, this the exact same list that I'm playing in real life. Online, I was playing a little bit different, where I had this whole Storm Giants for an Otawara, a second one, and the Castle Vantress was an island. And I made these changes because I wanted to have a bigger hedge against Blood Moon, and it worked very efficiently. And not only that, but having Otawara and being able to bring it back with Wrenn was like insanely powerful. So I'll ask you to consider that. I think Castle Vantress it's a really good card, but I don't think it's a card for modern. The games don't tend to go that long, and tapping five out is it's a lot of mana. Like you have to be sure that your opponent completely has nothing, and you're always playing like for example against creativity you'll play draw go, but it's not like a draw go you want to tap out for, and it's also your mana is very um, they're always answering the Wrenn, for example, against creativity, and against blue white, it's like the only scenario where it's really good, but then it's not active until past turn 5 or 6. So you get into these awkward scenarios, and even then, some of them play like Field of Ruin, they play some land destruction. So um, Castle Vantress is one card that I for sure would change or advise people to change it and to give different considerations, perhaps to a different land. Maybe the red one that channels, so you can bring it back with Wrenn and have an answer for Planeswalkers or maybe more blockers, so the Teferi can survive. The only issue with any channel land that is not blue, and this is the reason why I put the other Otawara, even though they're legendary, is because you need blue for Archmage's Charm. So right now your only white source, like your only non-blue source, is the plains, but Mystigate kind of helps you fix that. So you can do that, or you can also add another cycle land, the Ketra Triome, to make your Wrenn and Six better at like drawing, discarding, bringing it back to your hand, right? Have that going for you, or make your mana base better, because there are scenarios where you do just want to go fetch for something that gives you green or red. So if you top deck any other land, you can cast the Wrenn. So that's something that I'll ask you guys to consider. The on top source is like very nice. Also, that's why I added the Otawara. And another change that I also made online is I had taken one dress down out and then put it on the sideboard because there wasn't that much affinity, and there wasn't that much saga going around. Plus, your matchup against hammers is pretty good. So, and I changed it for a Supreme Verdict, which makes your hammer matchup, better, and also makes like your rhinos matchup better, and it makes your living end matchup better. It also makes your Merc type, like your blue red Merc type matchup better, just because they can't counter it, and then you can wrap them. And it's also as nice to have because sometimes, and most of the times, it's actually like a 2-for-1. You're not gonna play it on one creature unless you absolutely have to. The only bad thing about Supreme Verdict versus Dress Down is Dress Down cycles. Obviously, Dress Down works really nice with Solitude as well. If you want to like do some pretty cool flash in and then sack the Dress Down your turn, and now you have a free creature that you can protect also with Counterspell. And then the other thing is that Dress Down is cheap. Dress Down costs 2 mana. Supreme Verdict costs 4. So when it comes to your opening hand, holding Supreme Verdict is very awkward unless you know the matchup. That's it for the main deck. For the sideboard, I believe I took a Mystical Dispute out for a Boseiju, and only running one Stony Silence and only running one Rest in Peace. So the one thing I didn't like about Rest in Peace was that it had this kind of awkward Nambo with Memory Deluge, which you want to flashback your Memory Deluges because that's where they're actually strong, right? but Rest in Peace exiles them, and it also exiles the fetches for the Wrenn and Six. So it gets awkward. But the way a friend explained it to me was the matchups where you're gonna bring Rest in Peace are the matchups where Rest in Peace outshines all these other cards, right? So like if I'm bringing it against Living End, it's much better than Wrenn and Six, or it's much better than not being able to flashback your Memory Deluge, um, and so on. So for that reason, I really like one Rest in Peace. If you have any other card that you would like to test, I say test it and let me know in the comments how you feel about it, and perhaps if you have some other, if you have any other suggestions for that spot. And then also Engineer Explosives was really nice because it stops your opponent from being able to creativity because it just destroys all the tokens. But it's also good against Hammer on one, and it's decent against certain aggro matchups and certain weird matchups that you'll see it come up where the mana curve is like really low for them. Boseiju is there because it answers ley lines and it answers any artifacts or anything funny that your opponent wants to play. That sometimes it will lock you out, but you have this like Boseiju, Wrenn and Six, and also it's really good against Tron. So now you have like Spreading Seas and Boseiju and Stony Silence. So now you're kind of, I mean, it's not the best matchup, but after Sideboard, it starts getting a little bit better. And also, Chalice on one is pretty good against Tron, so it's something to keep in mind. Yeah, so I think that pretty much sums up um, the summary for this deck tech. Let me know what you think, and I hope you watch the videos for this week's um, Bearded Dragon tournament, modern tournament. So that's it.